All right, guys, I just want to review this with you, some of the stuff we talked about yesterday. Where I'm working right now in their document, our rig based selling program, we have a section called the customer development system, which is essentially found on the kind of page 9. And in that, we've got some different phases associated with it. One, we have what we call account development, which I'm going to talk about here in a little bit. But then we start working into what we call our job sheet development. And so essentially, when we look at it, we want to look at it as kind of three phases: job sheet development, and then we want to look at it as PDF generator development, and then we want to look at it as job sheet close development. So segmenting kind of the three different areas and processes that make up this particular system. So as an example here, if I come into my job sheet, so the first thing we're into is our job sheet development. Pretty straightforward. I can pick out the class, what type of job sheet it is. Then we go ahead and we fill that out. We assign it to an account. We associate it to a drilling rig. We've got where we are associated with it. So we're sending out, let's say we're now at the particular phase here, we're in the bid sent or the bid complete. We're going through that. And then I think I got one more mandatory field here. There it is. And the job due date, I could say it's done today. Bang, we save it. So you guys are very, very familiar with this concept of the job sheet development. One of the things, I'm going to turn this feature off because we don't want to utilize it quite yet in our process. So we've now completed the job sheet. We filled out all the requirements that the customer has asked for us to in order to bid. Next phase that we go through once we go through the job sheet development is we want to look at the PDF generator development system. So what we've got is this workflow that started the process for us, and we've got this PDF. We can look at the details, or the PDF generator, we can look at the details, and we've got all the information we want here, or we may want to update some of this particular information. And then what we need to do is we need to come in here and we need to add the products that we're quoting to this particular customer. So I'm just going to pick that as my product inside of the PDF generator. I'm going to put my quantity in there, and then any additional notes that I have or additional items that I have, I hit save. I've added that. I come up as part of my process, I can create my PDF, save it in order to send it. And then what I also want to do, and I'll move the button over so it's a little easier for us to take a look at, is I want to start the sync process. So I'll say continue. What I've done is now I'm still essentially in the PDF generator, the quoting process, but when I come back over here to the opportunity that we're working on, so here, job sheet, the job sheet that we're in, what I've done is I've added the product there, and I've started the pricing model update. So I can then, from here as part of the process, I can send out the email to the customer attaching that particular PDF, and then we come in and we have, and then if the customer says, yes, let's go ahead and win this, we look at our process and we move from the PDF generator process to the job sheet close process. And then I can go ahead and I can mark that there. At that point, I'm going to now go in and start an alert to say, hey, let's go ahead and start the field ticketing system, get things going out on that side of it. To close this process out, I then get the final pricing from the field. And what I want to do is I want to update the amount in the job sheet. And then I come back over here to my product line item. So I'm not going to do it into the PDF generator, which we quoted out as $6,500. Let's say that a miscellaneous item has come back and I want to add that to finish out the close process. And then I just say next. I can come out here and I can say I've got a quantity of 1, and then we can put in the dollar amount of 1,000 and say save. And now what I've done, you can see here, is my original quote was $6,500, or sorry, my original product, sorry. Okay, so it actually, so product 65,000. So I actually noticed that this, because we're syncing, it automatically updated it for us. So I'll address that. But I've now taken this up to $7,500 as a part of the process. Or now I can finish the close stage of the job sheet, and then we can move it to the order stage, which is now when we start looking at getting that information down to the billing department. So we start a brand new process within our within the system that we're running, or within the tool that we're using, which is Salesforce. So hopefully that's relatively straightforward and reflects what we talked about in the meeting, and we can review it a few times as we go in our next meetings here in December.